Hi everyone, I'm Glenda from Top Notch Legal, and today I want to talk to you about delays under house building contracts. I've had a number of these come up recently, so I thought it would be quite a topical subject to talk about. So the problem really with delays by the builder is that these happen at the end of the build, and by that time you're probably in rental accommodation having to pay rent, and you'll have to continue paying the rent if you can keep the lease going, if you can extend it. Plus you'll be paying a big chunk of money to the bank every month, because by now you will have drawn down all or most of the funds that you're borrowing from the bank. So it is a hurting point. But one of the things we need to understand is about these standard contracts that are used for builders for building today. So in Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales, most of those standard contracts that the builders will present to you are produced by the Housing Industry Association or the Master Builders Association. And I've found that owners often think, because they are standard forms produced by these organisations, that their interests are taken care of. And while to a large extent they are, there are some glitches in these contracts where you could come unstuck. And that's one of the topics I'm discussing today. So these contracts have in them what we call liquidated damages. Now, liquidated damages are intended to be a genuine pre-estimate of the loss that you will suffer if the builder delays. In Victoria, it's $250 amount. That is a default amount under the contract. In New South Wales, it's $60 per working day, and in Queensland, it's $50 a day. Now, if you're renting accommodation, probably you're paying more than $500, $550 a week, and none of these amounts are going to compensate you adequately. And I just want to run through a quick case that a client of mine had, because it's a great example. Of course, I've changed the name and I've changed the details for privacy's sake. But Nick came to see me. He was planning his retirement and he wanted to settle in a nice little township along the New South Wales Central Coast. So he found the land, found a builder, got his plans organised, and construction started. And everything went smoothly. And one day the builder rang him up and said, we've reached practical completion, so I'd like you to come on and inspect the property so we can get this sorted and get the final payment. So Nick went on site and was happy with the build, told the builder yes, everything was as he wanted. And then he asked the big question, so when do I get my certificate of occupancy? And the person that he was meeting with, the manager there, said, oh, you'll get it tomorrow. It should be ready tomorrow, but definitely you'll have it within a week. Well, so as a consequence of that, Mick engaged an estate agent to advertise the property. He needed to rent it out. He was looking forward to getting this rental income to come in to help him substantially reduce the mortgage over the next couple of years. And until he got it rented, finances were going to be tight. Anyway, the estate agent had a number of inquiries, and one of them signed an application to pay $400 a week. So all that was looking great. However, he was waiting on the certificate of occupancy, which didn't come. And 7 weeks later, he received a letter from the builder saying, sorry, the final inspection did pass and we can't get the certificate of occupancy because some excavation works that were required under the development approval hadn't been done. And Mr. Owner, they are your responsibility. When I had a look at the contract, they clearly are the builder's responsibility, and there's a big problem because the building is now in the way and you can't get a bobcat or an excavator in there. The work has to be done by hand. So Nick is in this awful position where he's not allowed to rent the property out. He's losing all this income, and there's an argument now as to who's going to do these excavation works. So for you, what can you do to stop this happening if you're about to sign up a house building contract? Actually quite a bit. So what you need to do, you need to go out and estimate, if the builder is delayed, what is it going to cost us? And then that's the amount that you need to put into the contract. It is perfectly viable to negotiate that amount, because liquidated damages are meant to be a genuine pre-estimate of your loss, and the default amounts in these contracts is not a genuine pre-estimate. It is actually below what it's probably going to cost you if the builder does delay. Now, my advice is, if you are signing a house building contract, don't assume your interests are taken care of, because there is a few glitches in these contracts where you could come unstuck. So do go and get advice. Of course, we're here to help if you should choose to give us a call, and we would love to hear from you. So that's it from me, from Glenda at Top Notch Legal.